Okay guys, today's video is going to be on tuning the local oscillator on the Mod-Osc. And I had it set up almost like a worst case scenario where you've gone to a site and you haven't had the chance to get the Mod-Osc pre-tuned up and you're essentially starting from scratch. To simulate that, I took all my capacitors and 6 o'clocked them all so they're straight up and down, and to show you how it's really not that bad to get it back if you have to do it from scratch. So to start off with, I'm powered here once again by my DC power supplies. You can do this on a card extender. I have the RF output going to a dummy load, and I also have the output of the local oscillator right now going to dummy load. To start with, how this local oscillator works, it takes the crystal around 50 megahertz. The first couple transistors triples it, and then it triples it again. So the first stage is 150 megahertz, and then the next one's 450. And then essentially 400 to 460 megahertz out of your local oscillator is what provides the phase lock loop time base to lock on your 6 gig. So starting out here, the first thing you got to do is first find out what frequency you're on. In this case, it's going to be 6805, and it's going to be high. Which means our receive frequency is lower than our transmit frequency, and we want to verify that we have the high side jumpers in right there, and we don't. So I'm going to take and move these jumpers over real fast so that we're all nice and even. And it's labeled right on the board there what's high and low. So we got them now over to our high spots, and that's good. Now we're going to come over and looking at our circuit. The first place that we're going to do is we're going to look for our VHF first tripled frequency, and we're going to tune C5 and C7 to get maximum signal. C1 is the frequency adjust fine-tuned, but I find it also plays in with C5, so when you're looking on the spectrum you can see, you can peak and center with these two. But to start off with, once we know our frequency 6805, we do our simple math of taking the frequency, adding 70, and then dividing by 15. In this particular case, we get 458,333 megahertz. And take that frequency and divide it by 3, and you get 152.77777. And that's going to be our first triple frequency, and that's the first thing we're going to look at. Now, in order to look at this, what I'm using is I'm using a little coaxial probe here with just a 10k ohm resistor soldered to the tip, just to give you a high impedance input so you're not really affecting the circuit when you come and poke in. The measurement that you're getting is relative. In this particular case, I found out what I need is about minus 40 dBm to get the maximum power that I need. So I'm going to come over here, and first I'm going to search for my 152.777 and maximize it for as much as I can. So there's my signal there, and I notice it's way off frequency, well, not too bad. So I'm going to first come over here and get it dialed in as close as I can, and then come over here I don't know if you saw that. You see how it's got a definite peak to it. So come over there and peak that. Same again. And I'm basically just looking for the maximum signal. And if I come over here to my marker and I look at my level, I'm at minus 37.61. I found that's very typical. Minus 40 is drifting there a little bit. You can see. So that's a good level there, so I like that. So I'll stop right there, and now what I'll do is I'll take the UHF output and take it off the dummy load that I have it on now and attach it to the spectrum analyzer so that we can see that signal properly. So come over here. And just so you can see, you can actually see the third harmonic coming on the output of the UHF. This is quite attenuated, but that's about what you would expect. And so now I'm going to tune over, turn my marker off. I'm going to go to my center, and I'm going to tune on frequency 458.3333 megahertz, and there's my signal. And now I can start tuning the other capacitors to bring that up to max. So starting here at C11, just go C11, C14, C16, C22, and repeat. And I'll just take these and peak them for the maximum signal that I can get here. So let me come over. You can definitely see it's got dips and peaks. So all I do I take it up. I see that the peak, I dip it both ways and go back to the max. Okay, let me come here to number 3. Once again, I'm looking for the peak. And when you're using a spectrum analyzer, it makes it so much easier because it's all visual. Okay. So now I can come back and check here. I'm going to redip. Well, I don't think I'm going to improve it much. Somewhere in there. Okay, let me just get a reference right now and see where I'm at. And voila, I'm at a smoking plus 14.2. The specs call for 13, and you don't want to settle for anything less than 12. So, and there you go. And if you wanted to absolutely center again, you can go over here to your number 1, and you see how extraordinarily sensitive it is. So best to let these really warm up completely, because otherwise it's going to be drifting. So there, that's about as close as I can get. It's a real sensitive pot. But there you go. So we're all up to maximum power. Everything looks good. It's a nice crisp looking signal, and that didn't turn out to be too bad. All right, there you go. Hope you liked it.